called in
to Box and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these stuff.
because they know the brews.
And they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
And save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks and brews.
brews.
Bucks and Brews.
Welcome back to Bucks and Brews. Nick, we did not get together last week because you were
Busy. Say just swamped.
But we are doing something this week that we have not done in a long time. Nick, my friend, what are you drinking?
I am sponsored proudly tonight by the eye candy himself, Mr. Mike Benson. I am drinking from R&D Brewing, a Goes style ale, passion fruit Goes. So I haven't tried it yet, but I'm really excited. I felt bad because before we started this, I cracked it and I was like, "Ooh, I should have saved that sound," because we love that sound.
We do.
That is a fantastic drink.
You happy you
So-
decided to drink one
I
tonight?
did, yeah. So it was hard, but I got to give the viewers what they want.
I have not had a drink since the wedding,
Yeah,
which was like 3.5 weeks ago.
there you go.
But my wife bought me something, so I'm sponsored tonight by Break Room Therapy.
There you go.
She bought me from Pounders a French Toast Bastard,
Say,
which is a vanilla cinnamon maple, not named after me.
Yeah.
Bourbon barrel aged Scotch ale.
that should be
So
that would be your stripper name, wouldn't it be? Vanilla cinnamon maple. Next up.
probably that or French Toast Bastard.
My wife and I went to a concert and the performer actually bought us all beers, which sounds like a made up story, but it was a small venue. And this guy is a huge, all right, he's not Taylor Swift huge, but he sells out. I've been to his concerts where there's 40,000, I don't even know, like a crap ton of people, right? Like
Didn't you see him at like Pine Knob or something?
right, Pine Knob. I mean, and it sells out. I don't know how many that holds, like
A lot.
40, I don't know, but he sells that out. And then he did a venue of 600 people, and so he's on stage and he's like, "Man, I really would like a beer." He goes, "When do you guys want a beer?" And he's like, "Let's see if I can get 600 beers in this place." So to tell you, it was like the most beautiful like concert we've seen of him, and his opener was just fantastic. And so I had a French Toast Bastard that night that he had bought me, and then I had a cousin's wedding this past weekend, so I had a drink there. Actually I had a few, but that was my first time drinking in 38 days, something like that. So I'm just gonna try to limit it as a one tonight, hopefully. There's another one in there if I need, but we'll figure that out. So diet's going well, right?
Yeah.
I've everybody's like, "Oh, how much have you lost?" And I was like, "I don't know. I can tell you I've tightened my belt loop twice," or and say
That's the big thing.
and my pants are falling off, right? And I was like, "I don't care how much weight I lose. It's a matter of how I feel as a
Yep.
person, right? Like, can I look at myself and have confidence back and be, and when your pants fall off your ass, you kind of put a little smile on your face."
That's the nice thing.
So, what do you? Oh, so yeah,
So yeah, I have the backwards bastard.
yeah.
Or French Toast Bastard.
French Toast
sorry.
Bastard, yeah. I say which,
It's very, very cinnamony.
yeah, it's a Scotch. Oh, so
I
it's
like it.
it's a French Toast Bastard. So they have one of my favorites, which would be a Backwoods Bastard,
Yep.
right? And then they have their mainstay, which is Dirty Bastard. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking Arrogant Bastard is
Yep.
from so yeah, they have a Dirty Bastard, which is I said this is Scotch ale and bourbon barrel. So yeah.
I am a little bit Scottish.
so
Shocking.
you and me both. That's what I'm going to be for Halloween. I'm going to put my kilt on.
Yeah.
I actually got the full formal now, so I have my sash to go all the way across. I bought a hat, but I wasn't going to get it custom made because they're really my colors. It's still got the purple and all that, but it's not the exact family crest. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be this year. So tonight I'm really excited. We absolutely loved this episode.
We did.
And so we're
And the fans did too. We
my
got a lot of nice feedback on the Reddit questions that we answered.
yeah. And then we had a viewer go, "Hey," because we answered and we're like, "Hey, we can't do stuff because you haven't given us detail." And they're like, "Well, shit, you're willing to help.
Yeah,
Here's the details." And so we said, "You know what? We'll devote this directly to you." So
we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about how to interview tonight.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So and we wanted to answer a couple other Reddit questions.
Yeah.
And so we might
go a little long. We might cut it into two.
We'll let you guys know. Either way, there's going to be some Reddit stuff, and there'll either be a whole episode of how to interview, or it'll be on here. So
we have some information here.
we do.
Let's go with the debt.
Okay.
So the listener has, we're just going to round numbers. So 2,900 in credit card debt on one card, 300 on another, and 900 on a third. So total credit card debt 4,060 and 80 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So might as well say 4061.
Yep, that's what I have.
Auto loan is sitting at 5840.
Correct.
And a 401k loan sitting at 9978.
Yep.
So total debt right around $19,900.
Mhm.
And of course, I had said, hey, we answered your question, but we don't know a lot.
Right.
Like, we don't know what you're making. We don't really know what your bills look like.
Because this was the viewer. I mean, he's like, I make six figures.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I make a lower amount an hour. And we're just like, whoa, like you haven't, like, we're kind of off here, right? So we dove into it a little bit. He came back and said, hey, he gave us, I mean, his bi-weekly paychecks for 4 months or something like that. But he was very specific about the fact that his company is trying to cut on overtime. And so I always tell everybody, overtime is extra money to invest, extra money to do things. Like you can't, I would never count on it, right? That's what's helped me so much, is never counting. So I specifically took it myself and broke it down to what, because we did get a 40-hour and 80-hour paycheck.
Yep.
And figured that out. So we have we have exactly what we figured out for a 40-hour a week per month.
Yep. Bi-weekly payment. Bi-weekly check.
Yep. So and then we added, we basically what we did was took the bi-weekly paycheck times it by 2.25, right? So Yep. That way you add the extra fifth week when it comes into play. And so, it does take it messes with your budget, because like there's that 1 month that you have extra money, and you got to be smart about that and, save that and do the right things for it. So
what do we have for a monthly take home?
I have a grand total of $3,771 on 40 hours.
Okay. So now we have
that's take home.
Yep. So now we have some obviously bills here. So when we go through this, rent, he has at 900 a month.
Yep.
Phone, he's spending 100.
Yep.
Electricity is $90. Cable is 110. And the grand total for all that's $1,200. So if you figure,
and there's a couple other things in there. Sorry. And then you forgot he had food. And
I had asked him, I'm like, you didn't give us a number on food. Did you eat it all?
Right.
So he came back with 400 on food and then 200 on eating out or going and grabbing a beer.
Yep.
So 600 a month.
Yep. So grand total of $1,800.
And of course, you and I look at it going, okay, these are necessities. And I'm like, but is cable a necessity?
Right.
Because in all honesty, I mean, you can stream shit for way less than $110 a month. Now, if that includes internet, I get it.
And to me, honestly, I assume it
probably does.
I mean, if not, dude, that's the first thing we're fixing. But yeah, I say, like, it was funny because you and I both are like, hey, we don't want to give up our beer. We don't think people should give up their Starbucks. We're not gonna live on rice and beans, right? But like, I understand the generic of it, but really, like, hey, I want you to live life. And then so we dove in, right? So we're at $1,800 of expenses. But then, David, we add in our credit card bills, right? Of what we
assume.
He did not give us the minimum payment, and we know the grand totals $4,060.
Yep.
Right? And so I, not being a credit card expert in things, like you
kind of relied on me.
Yeah. And so you're like, hey, this would be the minimum for here. So we came up with like $150 as a minimum payment.
Right.
On all three credit cards.
Which also means you're paying out the ass for interest.
Interest for the longest period of time. And So we went back and added that in. And sorry, we have another, because yeah, that puts us at 1950, right?
Sorry, I was
No, you're fine.
replying to our listener.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I think I missed you on TikTok. Didn't go live on TikTok with this one. I lied.
Yep.
But we are live on Twitch right now, so I just told him.
Yeah. So sorry. And then we have, so David, remind me. All right, so
Yep.
we're at 1800 plus the 150 for credit card debts.
Yep. So 1950.
1950. And where did we come up with the other 500? Because we came up with a total of 2480.
So his corrected monthly expenses was 2330 without the credit cards. But I don't know how he came up with that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it was 1200 originally and then it went up to 18, but he has 2330, which is how we came up with it. So let's just go with his 2330.
Okay.
Plus the 150 puts us at
2480.
Is that what we have?
Yep.
Okay, so we're just gonna go with that because he's still at a decent spot.
Right. So if we're budgeting high and we miss something, yeah. So I'm bringing home $3,771.
Yes.
On straight 40, right?
Right.
No overtime, no. And let me be clear on this. When you get overtime, right? So if your paycheck comes higher than 1675.97, right? Any penny, any dollar, anything that is above 1675.97, you are instantly throwing that at a debt.
Yep.
Right. Again, I don't care if it's a penny, David. I want to be clear on this. I don't care if it's a penny.
I don't either.
So we know that 40 hours, 1675.97. That's what we're expecting every 2 weeks.
So we have an extra $1,290 basically.
Well, yeah.
Every month
to
put towards a bill.
Yep. And so you and I, right, we're financially smart about what bills we're paying.
Mhm.
We know that credit cards are astronomical when it comes to how much interest rates they are. So we looked at that and we're like, all right, hey, what do we assume? Because he doesn't give us an interest rate, which is fine, but we know that credit cards are high interest, right? And then we're like, all right, hey, what's the car loan at?
Correct.
Come to find out, I mean, his $5,840 on his car loan is at 1.75% interest.
Yeah, you just ride that because you're not going to find that interest rate with anything.
Correct. Like I'm not worried about I'm not worried about paying that one. It's already set. It's not changing. And I can't really, I mean, I can't out earn that low interest. Does that make sense?
Correct.
I mean, so in a short period of time, right? There's nothing without going put it all on black.
Right.
But all right. So with $1,291, David, I have at $4,061. I took that and said, hey, if I take all $1,291 and paid that this was without overtime, on my credit cards, minus my interest that I'm going to incur, and divide it by 1291, it took me just over 3 months to get all of my credit cards paid off.
Correct.
So,
you could pay them off in 4 months.
Yeah, exactly. So in 4 months, we are completely done. If we do,
and that's throwing all of that extra at it, because we got to get rid of it.
Yep. And to me, it's hard because we go back and I know he says, hey, they're trying to cut down, but when you send me your paychecks and I'm looking at them going, hey, you only have like 2 weeks. So 4 weeks, 2 paychecks that are actually at this price. Everything else is astronomical. So I'm and again, they're sporadic. Like it was like June, the end of June, and then the end of July. So in the middle of those, you had an extra $300. So the way I see it, really, because almost am certain that you're going to get some overtime, but I'll say you get these credit cards paid off in 3 months.
You get that extra money while you have it.
Yep.
And you throw it at this extra shit.
Yep. And so I think that the credit cards will get paid off in 3 months. But again, 4 months at the absolute worst
At
case
the worst.
scenario. But really, realistically, I really think you're done in 3 months.
Well, and we talked about the auto loan. So he owes 59.40 base or 58.40 basically on the
Yep.
auto.
Yep.
But again, ride that because you have a cheap ass interest rate.
Right.
You might as well just sit on it.
And say if it's bothering you, right? The first thing we're doing is paying the credit cards, and then now we have $1,291 that we can throw at this auto loan.
Mhm.
So after month, let's go with 4, right? Just because we're nice guys. So 58.40, we divide that by 1291 equals. So we're at another, let's say 5 months. So within 9 months, we are completely debt free.
Yes.
Besides our 401k that's there. So 401k, how it works is, right, you pay back out of your paychecks.
Mhm.
So mind you, the money that we ran, the 1675, is based because it's actually he's already been paying back his 401k.
Correct.
So that number is going to go up once that's paid back, but we're not counting that right now because it's a debt that's automatically withdrawn. But and you can't actually make, last I knew, right, you can't just go in and pay extra on it. It has to be like all or nothing.
Yes.
Or set the payment. right?
I believe so. It's been a
Yeah.
shit. It's probably been 15 years since I had a 401k loan.
Yep. And so, right, like he's getting, let's round up, $300 every paycheck he's paying, because it's every 2 weeks. So $150 or $140 is, I think, what his is every week he's paying, and it auto comes out. So now if you want to get rid of that, again, we know that $6,000 roughly for the car is 5 months.
Mhm.
Within the time that you get paid off and you've been already paying down this 401k loan and you've been doing everything, I really think you'll be down to the 6,000. So save up at
Well,
that.
here's my question for you though.
Yeah.
So I know what I would do.
Mhm.
Do you attack the auto loan before you attack the 401k?
At the 1.74 interest,
Correct.
not really.
No, I don't worry
Um,
about the auto loan.
But
Because what are you saving at the end of the day? They front load a lot of the interest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you've had the car for a couple of years,
Mhm.
what are you going to save? $100?
well, so here's my thing. 1, are you thinking of a new vehicle? 2, how old is the vehicle? Is it giving you any issues? Is something going wrong?
All right, you say this.
Yeah.
What years are your vehicles?
03, 2010, and 05.
Right. Mine are now, my wife has a new vehicle. It's
Yep.
2018 or 19.
Sure.
I'm driving a 2013.
Yep.
I also have a 1988.
Right. So, but I guess if it's person's uncomfortable because, hey, they'll be upside down and not have a vehicle, I understand wanting to get rid of that debt, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So to me, I mean, as much as it's only 1.7, like the financially smart thing to do is just let that one ride.
Yep.
But I fully understand, coming from my side of things, just getting out of any extra debt. And
You have to know, I've said this a million times on this show. You have to know what type of investor and risk taker that you are.
right.
So, like we have said before, I want to pay my mortgage off before it's due. So I got a 15-year refinance.
Yep.
I want to pay it off in 10.
Yep.
My wife asked me at one point, she goes, isn't it smarter to take that extra money and put it in the market? Because you can make more than the 2.75% that the interest rate is on the house.
On that show.
Absolutely it is.
Yep.
But as an investor, I'm sitting there looking at this going, I pay $580 every month on my mortgage, and I don't want that bill anymore. So
Yep.
I want to pay that off as quickly as possible so that I have $580 extra every month.
And that's right. You see it. And to me, sure, is there a perfect mathematical way to figure everything out? Yes. Do you want to put in the effort? Right. I mean, if you've gotten a credit card debt where you have interest, that tells me that you don't want to do that type of work, right? You are the person where, like, dude, you have spreadsheets and you just go, yep, this is what makes me comfortable, this. Me, on the other hand, right? Like, sure, I could go get an auto loan and stuff like that, do whatever, but like I having an extra payment that's not a mortgage payment just gives me so much anxiety.
Correct.
Right? I can't do it. So like even if it was 2%, I'd probably just pay it off, right? Because that's who I am as a person.
You don't want anything that causes you interest other than a mortgage.
Correct, right? Like,
whereas I don't want anything that causes me interest if it's, unsecured, which would be a credit card.
Yep. Say exactly. And everybody has their stress points.
Again, you need to figure out which type of investor and which type of financial person you are.
Right. And I guess looking at it, because we know that he doesn't have $6,000. Granted, we don't know if he has any savings. We don't know anything about that aspect of things. Which we could dive so much more in. And
we might, because obviously, him and I have been communicating quite a bit on Reddit here. So I think we've gotten a new listener.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to follow Bucks and Brews quite a bit, in all honesty.
So, like always, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family, so that way you can have this type of interaction.
Can I take us off a tangent in a minute?
Yeah, please do.
So, tangent time.
Yeah.
I finally sent the package out to Arizona
for
our friend Preston Callahan 2 weeks ago.
There you go.
And I text him after it says it's arrived. Nothing. And I went like 4 or 5 days and I text him again. Nothing. And I'm like, because of course my anxiety, I'm like, is Preston pissed at us? Does he hate me now? Did I not send him good shit? I sent him a t-shirt and some stickers and coasters, and I don't think I sent him enough good stuff.
He's on vacation.
So I go to his Facebook page for Callahan Auto, and I'm like, hey, did you get the package? Later that day, I get a text back from Preston. Hey, I'm so sorry. I had surgery.
Oh, man.
I'm like, oh, I hope you're good now. He's like, I'm good now. I got your package. It's wonderful. I'm going to make a post about it. I'm like, cool, make the post. That's great. I'm so glad you liked it. Because, of course, my anxiety's sitting here going, Preston hates us now. We're never going to get to drink a beer with this guy because my anxiety sucks and I know everybody hates me.
Yeah. No, and that's the kind of things that people that steal packages constantly and all the stuff.
But do you have that?
Oh God, yes.
When people don't, respond to you and you send them a couple and you're like, they just hate me now?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like,
do you care if people hate you normally? Like if they go, fuck you, I hate you. Do you care?
Not usually. I mean, but if I've made the attempt to be friends and stuff like that, like it bothers me, right?
Yep.
But I have one of my I don't get close to people because I hate getting hurt, right? And so like that's a negative that
Are you close to me?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it.
But so if I put myself out there for new people, it's really tough for me, right?
I get it.
So, one of my it's not even a friend, right? But one of my wife's one of my daughters, my daughter has a friend, and we tried to get close to the family, or I don't know. It's just an awkward stage for me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, if you ever need anything, because I'm so used to being needed, and that's what makes me feel accomplished. But there, and so I sent a text. He had a surgery as well, and hey, hope everything's well. A couple days, I didn't get anything. Well, find out. I texted him like probably during his surgery, and then I found out he's doing good. And I sent him a text, and I was like, hey, you need anything? I'm a really good cuddler, right? Like, and I didn't get a laugh or anything back, and I was like, all right, like this is weird, Then we ran into each other, and it's like everything's things are, I'm getting better, I'm doing this. And I was like, great, like could have fucking said that in a text message,
right?
I was like,
I would have appreciated some acknowledgement.
Like, that was a great joke right there, thank you. Yeah, so I'm
gonna derail us again. So I get home today today I had to go and cut weeds. I don't know why. It's so dumb, but weed, weeds, not weeds. But I'm driving back from Plainwell, and I kind of flexed out my time.
Yep.
And I get a text when I get home from my former catcher, Maddie.
Yeah. With
a picture of my vehicle. I'm like, oh, were you on your way to class? And she goes, unfortunately, yes. I'm like, why are you taking pictures while you're driving?
Because I seen you.
And she goes, because I saw you. I'm like, you used to yell at me for this. And she goes, you're right.
Yeah.
So I just want to mention the fact that they're doing things that they used to yell at me for,
Oh gosh, yes. But so to this person, again, thank you for being a listener. I really think within 9 months we have you completely debt free.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
And again, I know you say you're not going to get overtime, but we've built your budget. You've already have the budget, right? You have the budget mostly written out. The only thing it's going to do is get better. Now just take all of your extra $12.91 and pay your damn credit cards, pay all these bills that you have, pay what you need to. If you want to get rid of that 401k, so that way you have a bigger paycheck at the end of the day, save, put it into savings. Like, don't put it into anything else. I will just say,
so when you say put it into savings,
that's
what do you mean?
When I say savings, I literally mean go make 0.001% in a savings account at your bank, wherever you, if you're the smarter than me and you're fine with technology and you have one of those online banks that give you 4% interest, go put it into that.
Right now, Ally Savings, which is completely online, is paying 4.25%.
Perfect. Go throw it in
Put it there.
And so, I guess don't get me wrong, I have, and it's so hard for me sometimes to tell you guys,
because you're the oldest young man ever.
That too, but I've already maxed out all the banks that are giving, besides online. I don't do online shit.
Right.
But besides, so all the local banks that I could possibly get to that are giving 3-4% interest, I literally have them all maxed out with the 15,000 or the 10,000 or the whatever the cap they fucking have. So that's why it's always like, oh, don't, no, I forget. Like, so go find a bank that gives you this for savings and then put that in there because it's guaranteed fucking money. So,
do you want a hint if you live in West Michigan?
Walk into a bank.
So United Bank, which I bank with, United Bank of Michigan.
Yep.
You have to spend $1,500 every month on your debit card to get 3%.
Really?
I shit you not. Do you want to know what counts?
What's that?
A Cash App to your spouse.
And they just instant put it in their bank account?
Yeah. Not even instant. It takes 3 days.
Oh yeah.
So you're not spending fees.
Yeah.
But if we're married, because that could happen.
Yeah.
If we're married and I send you $500,
yeah,
and you put it in your account and it takes 3 days to get there, they count that. If I do that 3 times, that's $1,500 and you get your 3% interest.
Perfect. Right. And it's cost you no money.
Right. So if you're in West Michigan and you want a little hint, there's your hint.
Yeah. And so on 4% interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you put this $1,291, I only did it on $1,200.
Yep.
If you put it into 4% interest rate, which you're talking about, and granted, I didn't do 4.25.
You just did simple interest.
Yep. Correct. You're going to get $4 a month free. So now if we add that times and granted, it'll go up, it'll be $4.10 the next one, but still, so over 3 months, and that's $12 towards. And people think, oh, $12 doesn't add up.
It adds
up. Really does, right? Like if you ever want to have fun and just for shits and giggles, go on to mortgage calculator, like type into a mortgage calculator into Google, and then go overpayment mortgage calculator amortization. And there's a website, and you can type in any overpayment that you want to do on principal, right? And you'd be surprised what a quarter does, right?
Yeah.
A quarter takes off months, and then I think it's like a couple dollars to take off years, right? And it's just stupid how just that little bit takes off that much in the end, right?
It works a little less for me because I only have a 15-year, but if you have a 30-year, and you're throwing, let's say, an extra $10 a month at it, that's huge. You might have that thing paid off in 23 years.
Yep.
Now, I'm just throwing out crazy numbers, but again, if you could pay it off early, why wouldn't you?
And you need to, right? Like, again, I round everything up to the nearest $25, right? So if it's $795, it becomes $800. If it's $763, it goes $775, right? That's how I do things, just because it usually ends up being a round number for me.
I didn't even do that into the microphone. I should have. Just so you know, I'm going on to a Soft Parade Fruit Ale.
Yeah. Original mortgage.
So also our new Reddit friend, he would like to buy a condo. I sent this to you. Did you look at it at all?
I did not, because I'm a horrible person.
You are. So he would like to buy a condo, and the one he's looking at right now on Zillow is a 1 bedroom, 1 bath in Pennsylvania for $215,000.
Okay.
And he wanted to know when he could start thinking about this. In all honesty, Nick, he's paying $900 in rent. Could he start thinking about it now? Because you are our resident real estate expert.
Yeah.
So if you're in the financial situation that our new friend is in, could you think about it now?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, and if your payment can become close, I mean, here's what I would say.
Yes.
I'm fine with keeping the car, right?
Mhm.
All I'm saying is, by the time I don't know what you have for savings. If you have nothing, we can push. But go back and listen to our episode about first time home buying,
Absolutely.
and especially a condo right now in this economy. Condos are usually the first thing to take the hits. They're the harder, they're not the biggest selling things.
They're not. And looking at this condo, this is like an apartment type condo,
right.
like what my daughter has.
Yeah.
Not like a standalone, duplex type condo.
Yeah. So let's just assume you've had a 30-year mortgage and 5 years, or you've had it for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So 25 years owed, original mortgage of $300K. If we pay an additional $5,
Mhm.
it's a month off, right?
Yeah.
And say I know there's a whole better one. But say, and so every bit counts. But yeah, so really, by the time you get these credit cards paid off, your monthly income is doing plenty fine. You could look at a condo at this moment, right? Because your credit seems to be fine with a 1.7 interest rate on a car. You are not in that big of debt. They're not going to look at the 401k debt because they're going to do it off your gross take home, which I understand that you say, hey, but like this is where people get screwed. Okay. I'm very proud of this person for saying, hey, they're trying to do 40 and I want to stick to 40 and do 40. Awesome. Understand that that's what you take home. So
they get screwed when they go,
I
make overtime and I get basically 65 hours a week in pay.
Yep.
And I can base everything off of that 65 hours a week in pay. Can you do that, Nick?
No, because companies will do exactly what this person is saying. They're trying to cut back on our overtime again, but then they'll go, hey, overtime's mandatory. We have to do it right now, right? Everybody has this ebb and flow, and it's when it benefits the company. It doesn't ever have to matter when it benefits you.
It honestly never matters when it benefits the employee.
Right.
They're not looking at that.
Let's say I just redid it on $10 and it's 4 months, just $10 extra on if you have 30 years to go on your 30 years, so brand new, and you just pay 10 extra on, and this is a 4.5 interest rate.
And I would recommend all the time, do the biweekly payments because you get an extra, what is it, two a year, 2 payments a year on that mortgage. So it's not technically 2 payments, but it's one super payment of no interest.
Yeah, it's all principal.
No escrow, because everybody's got escrow nowadays.
Yep.
It's just straight principal for your basically entire payment.
And so you're in a great position. So the only thing that's going to change is they don't have a gas bill currently. I'm assuming their condo is going to have that.
Agreed.
They're going to have,
it's great.
What's that?
Blankets.
Oh yeah.
Don't set your fucking heat at 68 degrees.
Oh god, no,
set it at 64.
Mine's at 62.
Use a fucking blanket.
Yeah.
So I have this fight. You have the same fight, I know, because you have 2 women in your house.
Yeah. Well,
oh my god, it's cold. Right. Put a fucking hoodie on, please.
Say remember all those blankets that you hated that were sitting all over the couch? Put that on, right? Yeah. Like, I do it, and it's weird because like when I get cold, I just get cold. But like, I'm wearing socks today, right now, right?
I am too.
Say, granted, I went bowling. I just never took them off.
October.
It is, right? And so like I wear socks when I get cold because like then it warm. If my feet get warm, then I'm usually getting warm.
Question.
Yeah.
Do your feet get cold first?
Yes.
Mine too.
Yep.
And if your feet are cold, you're freezing.
I'm cold.
But if you put something on your feet and they get warm all of a sudden, you're just hotter than hell.
I'm doing like right now. I'm fucking roasting.
I am too. I
And
took
it's
my hat off because I'm sweating. It's 66 in here.
Say David and I are like, God damn it.
I would be so happy it was like 58 in here.
Right. So you know that being said, but yes, you could look at a condo right now. You have no problems. You know 3.5%. So actually now I'm going to do this mortgage calculator. I don't do you remember what area this person lives in?
Pennsylvania.
Okay. 120,000. So you can spend 120,000 on an 8.6 interest rate, right? Because that's interest rates are crazy high. But that's a $932 principal and interest payment.
Yep.
So now you have to add escrows, right? And you're going to add your HOA, so you'll be at 1,200, 1,300, right? I don't know what the HOAs are there, but like, let's go 13. But you have, so that's $400 extra dollars. Now we're adding gas, so
Yep.
that's another 100, so that's 500, right? And so then instead of having 1,291 extra, we would have 600 extra.
Yeah.
So sure, at that point, we might think about getting rid of our $110 cable bill. Okay. You know, at that point, we might sit here and consider, hey, do I want to pay my car off so that way I have the $300 extra dollars in my pocket? Yes. It's funny because credit cards don't bother people because they're such low fucking payments, but they're just going forever. And then you're going to get into
They're going forever, and the interest rate is somewhere between 21 and 29%.
And so, but you look at it, oh, it's my lowest payment. No, it's your lowest.
It's your lowest payment, but your highest interest
Right.
payment.
So all you're paying is interest on $30.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it is.
You'll never pay it off if you don't continue with it.
That's how the banks make their money, by suckering people into those payments.
Yeah. So I think we nailed everything with this guy.
I think we did. Obviously, to our wonderful new listener, if you have more questions,
Yeah.
reach out to us. As I messaged you a little bit ago, this will be uploaded next week, which, you know, today is October 18th.
Yeah.
So next week, this will be uploaded. If you have more questions, by all means, if you'd ever like to come on and talk to us live,
Yeah.
we are happy to do that.
So
And for any of our listeners, we are absolutely happy to have you on live, and we will sit there and dissect your financial issues and give you our advice. Now, mind you, I'm going to say this as a disclaimer. Nothing we are giving you can be construed as personal finance.
no, we're not. I mean,
I'm
just a guy that happens to know how to do it.
Yeah, right.
Like,
We
I'm
know
not a
what
financial
works.
advisor.
Right. We know what works.
Yeah.
And we can give you what worked for us and what works for the people we know. And take that for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So let's go into some other Reddit questions, and then we'll do a second episode in a little bit on job interviews.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I just sent you one. I want to talk about that one first.
Okay.
So
We're starting backwards, folks.
we are 31 years old, over 12,000 in debt, and trying to go back to college. Hey, everyone. I'm at that point where I'm really depressed
Me too.
from all of the bad decisions I've made throughout my life. Welcome to life. And I desperately want to make a change for the better. Good.
I'm glad.
All of us do too.
I mean, that's why I stopped drinking on our Bucks and Brews thing. Just
Correct.
because I needed to focus on me a little bit.
I'm currently making $22 an hour. Mind you,
That's
if you're
pretty
31 years old and you're making $22 an hour, that sucks.
It's not bad.
That sucks.
No.
So a former player of ours who's 23
Mhm.
is making that.
Yeah.
That still sucks.
It's
If
like-
you're in your 30s, you should probably be close to 30. I'm in my 40s. I should be close to 50, and I'm only making 35.
Sure.
So, as somebody that's getting grossly underpaid, go find a better paying job.
And if you can find it in
If
the
you
field.
can.
And but say to me, 22, I mean, it's not a bad thing
It's
to
not
live.
terrible, but again, Minimum wage should be way higher than what it is, and
Hey,
we have that argument all the time.
okay, sure. If you want, go find better income, but let's figure out what your life is. To
So
tell you better
we're making
advice.
$22 an hour, working 40 hours a week,
Do I-
no savings whatsoever.
Do I love my job?
8,000 in student loan debt,
Okay,
4,000 in credit card debt.
8,000 in student loan. That's not bad. Congrats.
Not
Good
terrible,
for you
no.
compared to like some of the shit we've had on here.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
120,000.
Let's
Yeah.
say, yeah. All right, and 4,000
You're
in,
winning. Literally, you're winning.
in credit card.
Credit card payments are $300 a month.
Okay, perfect. So if we're 300 and this person was, so we might be off on this person because,
Might be a little bit, but still.
but yeah, I say we're past that.
Phone bill, $100 a month.
Okay.
Car insurance
Okay.
is 127.
Okay.
Rent,
Okay.
500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's cheap rent.
Okay.
Student loan payments, 103.
Okay.
Gasoline for the car is $300 because they commute 80 miles a day round trip
300 a week or a month?
a week. A month.
A month.
I would assume a month.
I'm assuming a month.
It's only 80 miles a day.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Because you figure
250.
an average car gets 25, let's say,
Yeah.
miles per gallon. So yeah.
Well, I say I can go, I don't know, 275. I say 816, 24, 32. I mean, yeah, I say I have a small car though.
You do.
All right, gas.
Groceries, $280 a month.
280. All right.
Yeah.
Food.
On top of the struggle of trying to pay off all of this debt, I want to go back to college and actually finish with a degree in accounting this time. So obviously they have student loan debt, but they have not finished.
Okay.
However, due to all of this debt I currently have, I'm not sure I'd even be able to afford community college. I looked at my local community college and they charge a whopping $300 per credit hour.
Okay.
Also, I should add that I already hold an associate's degree in business administration, but the goal would be to switch the concentration to accounting and then transfer to a 4-year university to acquire my bachelor's degree, which would be even more expensive.
Okay.
Can anyone give me any advice based on my specific situation? And should I continue trying to pay off more of my debt and accrue a decent amount of savings before I try to go back to college again? Or should I try to go back ASAP? I'm at that age where the clock is really ticking, and I'm not sure which is the most beneficial route to me. Thank you, everyone, for your time. So, first question I have, which I also asked our new listener, does your job have tuition reimbursement?
Yeah.
Because if they do, they can help pay for your schooling.
Okay, so while you're reading that, right, I'm over here writing like a fucking mathematician.
Of course you are.
Let's say, and again, we have a person that is in a beautiful situation.
Mhm.
Okay, my guys, I don't understand it. Like this is what gets me so much. Okay. So let me be clear, right? You listed off all of her stuff, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to reiterate
Well, everything that's here, at least.
Right. So I have $300 in a credit card debt. I have $100 for a phone. I have $127 for insurance, $500 for rent, $103 for student loans, $300 in gas, $280 in food.
Correct.
I am missing nothing.
And you're making $22 an hour
Now,
at 40 hours a week.
okay. So I have $1,710 in expenses.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I have $22 an hour times 40 hours a week, $880. Me being me, I instantly just take everything and times it by 0.75. So that way I have my number 20. I figured at that price, you're at the 17 to 22 percentile tax bracket.
Yep.
You have your healthcare and stuff like that. So I have a $660 take home, right? Without
Weekly.
any investments,
Yep.
right? So take $660 times it by 4.25. Is giving me $2,805
Every month.
every month.
And what were our bills every month?
$1,710.
So we have $1,000 basically to play with.
We have $1,100 to
Okay.
play with. I mean, yeah, let's say $1,095, right? And so,
And again, I don't know technically specifically what the debt is. So the credit card debt is around 4,000.
Sure.
but I don't know if that's 4,500 or if it's 3,500.
Right.
So let's just say it's $4,000,
Mhm.
and we have $1,100 to play with every month.
Yep.
So we can pay this off in 4 months. If we throw all of it at just the credit card.
Just a credit card, right? So we're 4 months into a credit card debt free.
Correct.
Okay. Student loans, we can continue to make our minimum payment, and that's fine.
And again, we only owe, what was it, 8,000? Is that what it was?
Yes, 8,000
on the credit cards?
No, on student loans.
On the student loans,
Yes.
right?
So
Which, as you said, that's really, I don't want to minimize how you're feeling.
Yep.
That's really cheap.
Yep.
For what we usually see with student loan debt.
it's extremely inexpensive, right? So I'm not going to sit here and like the other viewer and tell them they can go buy a house and do whatever, because they have aspirations above what they're looking
Correct.
for, right? But so I thought, and you said $300 per credit hour.
Correct.
Now, David,
That's
let me,
for community college.
let
Though,
me
but
ask
you're
you-
not going to get your bachelor's degree at community college.
sure, but what do you remember what you or Caitlin paid for credit hour on online?
So we paid $950 per class, which was a 3 credit hour class.
So that's
So that's
$315.
is $317 per credit.
Nailed
hour.
it.
You did. So again,
yeah.
I mean, both of us graduated Southern New Hampshire University,
Yep.
which honestly has a very nice program. And if you have no tuition reimbursement, I mean, the terms are 8 weeks. I'm doing a plug, even though they don't fucking pay me. They should.
They're going to soon.
8 weeks,
Mhm.
you get one class out of the way.
Perfect.
So,
So-
even if you don't, let's say you go 3 times a year.
So let's figure this out real
Yeah.
quick. Okay. I'm sorry to stop you.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I have, all right. So okay. I know we want to go back to school. We want to go right now.
Mhm.
I know it sucks and I know that you want to do some change.
Mhm.
Here's my opinion. Holidays are coming. Things are coming.
Mhm.
Let's get right back on track. Okay. So granted, we haven't done any gifts and things like that, but go back to our, holiday episode and
Yeah.
we're going to do one because we always do every
We
year. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that $1,000 because we're in October, so November, December, January, February, we're out of credit card debt.
Yes.
Okay. Then I want you to gift yourself,
Mhm.
right? I don't fucking care if you paid on this student loan right away. You're not going to take any more, right? I want to be clear about this. So one, and you're going to have this ambition to want to go really, really fast or do whatever.
Mhm.
And hey, I can't afford it. But you're right. You can't. Okay, fine. If you want to, then just keep making your minimums. But at this moment, you said it's $975 to go to a bachelor's
To get a
school online.
bachelor's degree online.
But you're at 300. But let's just go. You're going to go to the bachelor's degree online. So 375 per class.
975 per class.
Or sorry, 975. And so we have an extra 1,100.
Mhm.
So right now, what we could do is okay, and that's for 8-week classes.
8-week class.
Okay, so 1 month for $1,100, we're going to gift ourselves.
Yep.
On month 5, we're gifting ourselves. We're going back into school, and you're gonna pay your $100 and something for enrollment fee, and then you'll have the $975 out of that month to go back to school.
Yep.
That next month, everything's gonna stay the same. You're gonna take one class while you're working, so that way we maintain the income.
Mhm.
And now we have $1,175 for the second 4 weeks
Mhm.
that we are now putting towards the $8,000 student loan.
Correct.
Okay. And then the next month, right, you are going to pay again, gift yourself, give to yourself the 975, giving us $125 that we're going to put towards this $800 or $8,000, right? Which is now $7,000 because we've just put a 1,100 towards it. And you're going to do that. And you're going to do that for the next 16 months or whatever it would, until that thing is paid off. And then now we're just paying fully for our school, one class at a time. We'll get to our bachelor's degree instead of making 22. By the time we're done with it, we're going to be making $35 an hour, $32 an hour. I don't care anything more than 22. So our income is going to raise. We've bettered ourselves. We've made ourselves happy. We've stayed out of debt. We literally are doing perfect. I mean, because $500, I'm assuming you're living with somebody. And so if that kind of changes, find a new roommate. If
Yep.
you're living at home, stay with them. Also, to me, this is you're in a beautiful situation.
So I'm going to say timelines are arbitrary.
Very much.
They're made up in our minds.
Yeah.
So I started back to college to get my bachelor's in 2016.
Yep.
I had already turned 39.
Mhm.
Okay. It took me until 23. It took me until the end of April 22. So I was 44.
Yep. So 6 years.
So it took me 6 years
Mhm.
to finish my bachelor's.
And you started with an associate's?
I didn't even have an associate's. I had enough credit hours for an associate's, but I didn't actually have a formalized associate.
Sure. So this person only has to take 2 years worth
Basically,
versus you had to take 4 years worth.
well, I had to take a little over 2 years worth because I didn't have the associates, but I had enough credit hours to transfer.
Sure.
But again, I mean, the nice thing about some of these online schools is they do an accelerator program. Now, again, you have to look into these schools. If they're for profit, like University of Phoenix,
Yep.
fucking run.
Yep.
But if they're a nonprofit university, it's probably a decent enough education.
No.
Now, again, nobody's going to look at my degree and go, "Oh, yes, he graduated summa cum laude, and because he went to the University of Michigan."
Right.
That degree holds a higher esteem than what I have. But at the end of the day, I do have a bachelor's. I did graduate with high honors.
Sure.
And you can't, shit on that.
Right. And so to me, I think this is a perfect game plan, right?
Mhm.
Again, it might not work for you, but like from the things that you've given us, all the things, you have plenty of money to go back to school. You just have to do it slowly. So that way we're not getting ourselves into more debt, right? It is pointless to go into more debt, especially when you can avoid it, right? Things aren't terrible now. They're just not great, right? So that's what we're gonna end up doing. All right. Is it normal to always feel like I can't actually afford what I'm buying? Whether it's a haircut, an oil change, healthy-ish groceries, a tuxedo rental for a friend's wedding, is it normal to feel like I probably shouldn't be buying literally any of the stuff, even though I don't really know how to live without it?
I mean,
Which-
we're going to have two different answers. on this.
100%.
All right, go.
Absolutely, it's fucking normal, right?
Maybe we'll have the same answer. It's totally fucking normal.
We like literally, okay, I don't want to sound arrogant, but like I'm not hurting, right?
Right.
But I every time I go get a fucking oil change, I'm like, God damn, I don't punch up bowling balls because I don't want to spend the $50 because I'm like, I can't afford it, right? Because in my brain, it's always like, oh, what happens if there's something else? There's something
You're
else.
broke.
I'm always fucking broke, right? Like if you like, that's the giant joke with everybody. Oh no, I'm broke. Like right? Like granted, I go do the stuff, right? Yeah, doesn't mean I don't sit here and go, I can't afford this, right? I mean, but to me, but when I look at it, my wife and I just went down for Monday or whatever it was, and we took a trip to go look at a house, and it was 2 hours away, and yeah, I don't know, I put $70 in her gas tank because we went away the day before or something. And I was like, that didn't faze me, right? But I went inside to buy a fucking $2.40 thing of olives and $2, probably $4 fucking stick of beef jerky. And I was like, God, I can't afford this. Like I was like, that's $8, but I had no problem pumping that 70, right? I was just like, yeah, fuck it. Like I knew it was coming, like, but the $8 got me. So when you're talking, I mean, I don't go get haircuts anymore because I don't, granted, I have none, but I have side stuff and I like to get my beard. I used to like it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm not paying $20
It's
because
too expensive.
right, I can just do it at home and now I barely do it. But like absolutely to me, 100%, right? I mean, it takes me so long to buy things I quote unquote want because
I haven't paid for a haircut since I was 16 years old.
there you go. Right. I mean,
Let's say haircuts were $10.
Mhm.
I'm 46 now. That's 30 years of no haircuts.
yeah,
Let's say I got one a month.
Yeah.
So that's what I say it was $20. So that's $240 a year times 30.
yeah,
How much money have I saved, Nick?
shit tons. 120 times how many?
30.
Oh, geez. 369, $9,600.
3,600.
Oh, I was to say I was
But
close.
still,
Yeah,
$3 grand.
Sorry, I was thinking $30. Sorry.
$3 grand.
Yeah.
I've saved by never getting a haircut.
Right. Sure. At your right, instead of giving up your fucking coffee, you've given up haircuts. Right.
And
Like,
I mean, because I shave it all off.
yeah.
And I'm great with that. I look better bald than I do with hair because I'm losing it, and who gives a shit?
Yeah. And I say this person, somebody else answered, they're great for them, right? I've quadrupled my income over the past few years and I still feel this way. Of course, right? Because you never know. Like for people like me, it's just, man, you never, it doesn't feel like a necessity to survive, right? Like granted, I don't know. I always know that there's something cheaper, right?
Yep.
Like again, if I have to get out of a funk of eating fucking hot dogs every day, I go buy a pack of lunch meat and still throw it on a hot dog bun, right? But like the necessities are the things that I don't usually have too big of a problem. So yes, it's normal. You're a normal fucking person.
It sucks that it's normal.
I don't know if it's normal for women. I can't give you that. My wife, we talk about it, but like she only tells me I can't afford my fucking tires or I can't afford this really, expensive repair or this and that. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you don't fucking save. I'm not picking on my wife. I am though. But yeah, I say it, for her, I mean, because to me, like, dude, I think honestly, for my wife, it's different. I would love to ask her that question because I mean, just today, right? She got another fucking water bottle delivered from Amazon to my house. Yeah, but this one has the hours, so I know if I'm drinking enough during the day. And I was like,
no, man.
So you can't just keep like a fucking tally on the. No, I did tell her it's fine because right, I'm not going to stop my wife from bettering herself, and I'm the one that told her to go get it. But I'm just like, you can't just keep a fucking tally somewhere that just says, hey, one glass today, one glass. And if you don't have enough glasses, it looks like at night all you're doing is sitting and chugging fucking water.
Yep.
No, it doesn't work that way. I get it, but yes. So my wife, no problem buying clothes, no problem buying stuff. I mean, I can't tell you. So my wife doesn't have to, but she buys my underwear because I get so fucking tired of spending $15 on fucking underwear because it's like a waste. And
she also packs for you every time you leave.
That's
which is why you didn't have any Bucks and Brew shit a year ago.
Socks, right? Like she goes and buys she buys pants because I think they're a fucking waste, right? I think it's just a waste of fucking money to have this stuff but she makes sure I'm clothed and she without my suit
without your wife.
I'd be fucking naked
all the time.
Dude, I'd be like, hey, like I'm gonna run my business from home. If I need a business meeting.
Tangent time again. We get a text from you the other day after a wedding.
Was it a wedding?
Wasn't it a wedding?
I think
it was a party.
The party. Yeah, that was.
And what did you say?
No idea. I didn't even know I texted you. I texted you
that you were running around naked.
I was official. Oh no, I texted you the day after. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. So
because you hadn't been brag to the eye candy because he was naked.
Yes, I hadn't been drinking, and then my buddy, I was drinking. I had 3 beers. Right. This is an honest fucking statement. But my buddy poured whiskey into each of them, and I'll tell you. Right. Think of a bottle, and I had a quarter of a bottle left, and he brought it back, and next thing I know, I had like a half a bottle. So it's that much whiskey, and I was like, "Oh, but so
like a double shot of whiskey,
triple, it was bad, man." And so by the end of the night, right, I was intoxicated, and
I mean, you haven't been drinking, which also doesn't help,
or eating, right? Like, and so my buddy was talking to my other buddy, and next thing I know, next thing they know, they turned, looked. I remember my buddy getting me redressed because I was just down to my underwear right in the middle of fucking town. And I was like, I didn't even, I don't know what caused it, right?
I'm going to say something that's horrible.
Yeah.
My wife has seen too many of my friends' dick.
Yeah, I say, but this time the wiener didn't come out, but yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was, my buddies had a laugh. I heard about it for a couple of days and.
I mean, the eye candies came out at the wedding.
So.
And he told everybody being Mikey's nephew, myself, and Dawn that it's fantastic and everybody wants to see it.
Say, all right. On to the next one. Oh, buddy, this is a good one. This is one of my pet peeves with America. So do you want to read it?
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Made a mistake. Oh, I picked this one just for you.
Yep.
Made a mistake buying a truck. Now I don't know how to get out from under it.
Mhm.
Because you might know somebody that does this. In December of 2021, I bought a 2019 Ford F-150 XLT for $47,903 with a payment of $645 a month with, I believe, an interest rate of 4.24% on 87-month loan terms with 67 months remaining.
Jesus.
87 months?
Mhm.
That's 8.5 years. Is that about right?
84 would be
8.
yeah. So
So
7,
8.33 years.
7. Yeah, 7. No, 7 and yeah. 84 would be 7. So 7
Okay.
years, 3 months.
Yeah, because 6 is 72. You're right.
Yep.
So
And we still have 5
I'm
years and 5 months.
question: would you ever get a loan for that long?
I would never get a loan that fucking big unless it's a house. I have bought houses for more than
45 a month.
let me be clear on this. Okay.
What's your highest mortgage?
My highest fuck ton. But say a shit ton. But yes.
Over 1,000?
Way.
Okay.
I mean, we're
But we're talking like how many units?
12.
Okay. So what's your highest
Single
mortgage
family?
on a single family home?
Oh,
Or maybe a duplex?
1125. Oh, dude, all my duplexes are cheaper than my highest single family.
Okay, what's your highest single family?
Let's call it 1125.
Okay, so this is more than half of that.
Yeah. And mind you,
a truck.
mind you, this is a $300 and something thousand house, right? Like, but I will say, like, I want, like, I have bought houses for $47,903, right? I granted I paid $12,000 for a house, but
Have you ever lived in a truck?
it was a car. But
Have you slept in a few? Because I have.
I mean, yeah, like
It's not overly comfortable.
no, God, no. But like I say, you throw something in the back at night and hang out and look at the stars. But
Yeah, in the bed.
by fucking choice.
And in July, right?
Yeah. So,
You do that in December?
I mean, I've slept in cars while I was coaching in the middle of fucking December. But
Yeah.
no, so right, like again, the income, and we don't know this person's income, we don't know anything about it. But if you're I don't know, if you're a billionaire, right? This is fine numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
If you're us,
we'll
what are
see.
you thinking?
But if you're the average American,
I'm gonna get back into this.
let's be clear on what an average American is, right? It's not 50% of fucking America. Let me be clear on that, right? The average American is not 50 fucking percent.
Correct.
You are not. No, the average American is 90%. 90% of America is average.
Correct.
Right? It's the top 10% that is blowing everybody.
Yep.
So you are the same. Sure. So if you're making less than, I don't even know, it's $212,000 or something like that. You're average. You're fucking average.
Mhm.
If you're making, and the poverty level is
24,000.
yeah, something like that. Like, sure. So then you're in poverty, but otherwise you're average,
Mhm.
right? Like, let's say,
Well, I don't want to bang on this guy, but at the
No.
same time, I do a little bit.
sure, but you owe 38,500.
This was a cosign with not a ex-spouse who is now on the loan, but not on the title. So it's now an ex-spouse on the loan, but not on the title.
Yep.
I owe 38,500 on it. Now I have split and no longer living in a 2-income house. I'd like to find a way to get out from under this truck and save some money.
God, this is why.
I will say I can't afford this payment, but it doesn't leave much wiggle room. No shit, it doesn't. You're spending $645 a month on a vehicle.
Mhm.
I was offered a new dealership from a few dealerships, around 25 to 27,000 for it. And as you can see, that would leave me with a lot of negative equity. I don't have enough to pay down that equity. I have read leasing could be a good option. Also, maybe just driving a shit car for a few years till I can get by. Any advice would be helpful. So first off, stop buying these expensive ass vehicles.
Mhm.
Because when I was a kid, so before you were born,
Yeah.
people said if you buy a new car, you drive it off the lot, it's less than half of its value.
Yeah.
So now,
A truck, not so much right now, but it will be.
but again, my mother bought a truck in 1993 when I started driving.
Mhm.
It was a rear wheel drive truck.
Oh God.
So it was a work truck.
Yep.
It was $13,000. She might have had a loan on it for like maybe 2 years.
Sure.
Maybe she might have just paid the motherfucker off because it was 13 grand.
Yeah. But
And people now are paying six figures on these vehicles.
on trucks, extremely. You know,
It used to be the working man's vehicle.
everybody asked me, why don't you trade in your 03 beat the fuck out of truck, right?
Nope.
What do you want me to get? Well, just get a newer truck. Why? What's that newer truck going to give me? What's going to give me reliability? Okay, so I have a $630 payment
Mhm.
or $645 payment, or I have a no payment.
Mhm.
And so 645, I will tell you, I've had my truck towed for $120 to $150. I put new tires on it all around after I blew it, and that was $600. So yes, I'm a little over the fucking 1 month payment, but
How much do you
I
think you
was-
spend yearly on your truck that is not like oil changes or gas?
on average, right?
On average.
On average right now. Because I've had a little bit of work done,
Okay.
but I did some of the work myself. But if I had to put, I think I've owned it for like 7 years.
Mhm.
So if I had to pick a number, and this is probably high, at max $100 a year, right? Like, well, besides insurance and right taxes.
Yeah,
and
but
all
those
that
things
stuff.
don't count because
So-
that's a bill you're
so
going to have no matter what.
I would, because like I'm trying to think, because like all I've really done, I had a radiator,
Mhm.
which was like I did have somebody do that in a latch, and that was like $350, which I had done, and then I put in, so I had my AC compressor go out, so it was a $35 part or something that I just switched. Then I had to buy a different belt. Long story. Anyway, so like I want to say I'm only like $400 deep, but like I'm just gonna give the benefit, and then I put tires on it.
$100 a year
But yeah, I'd say $100 a
in
year.
7 years.
Yeah, like I say, right? In 7 years. So my monthly payment on that is
Hang on.
nothing.
7 years is 84 months.
Yeah.
Your monthly payment on your truck is $8.33.
No, that's right. I mean, I'm doing pretty okay.
And the other one is 645.
Yeah. Right. And well, let's say, sorry, I had it towed. So I guess I would say 150 because I had it towed and
So,
put tires on it. And all that.
$10.
Sure. So yeah.
So they're spending $635 more per month than what you have spent.
yeah. That's-
Now again, not everybody wants to buy an old ass truck,
I get it 100%.
but did you need?
But you look at my Toyota.
Yeah.
I've done brakes. Okay. And again, I'm pretty handy. I do brakes myself. But if I had to put a number on my Toyota, which I've owned for 10, 11 years now, something like that, or my Scion. Beside, like I've done, but I am pennies into that thing. Pennies, right? I've done nothing. Two sets of tires. One they actually gave me. I paid $212 for some, but anyway, and then this I just put new tires on, which was 400 and something, and brakes and stuff. But like I am nothing into my Scion.
So my Equinox,
Mhm.
2013, I bought it in 16.
Yeah.
At this point, I've done 2 sets of tires, 1 set of brakes. And if you take those out of the equation, beyond the finance that I had on it, because I did I actually did over a 5-year. I did a 5.5 year. I might have put $3,000 extra into it, not including tires and brakes. But again, we're talking a 10-year-old vehicle now. I spent about $3,000 on. That doesn't include tires and brakes, because you're going to have tires and brakes on any vehicle you buy if you keep it for more than a couple of years.
Right.
So,
Well, and that's the difference is okay. So my truck tires are 600. Let's
Mhm.
just round up. And again, I just bought new tires for my small car, and I spent 420. Okay, like I don't need 22s. I don't need 24s. I have 16. I had 19s and now I have 16s, but like my 19s, there was a manufacturer defect in the actual tire itself. And I was in there, and sure, it was a pain in the ass. I was in there every other day, right? Getting a new tire because, again, the manufacturer defect. And so they ended up saying, hey, look, I think I have the record of like 22 times in a month being in there to get
Yeah.
new tires because they warranty them. And that was the thing. It was warranty. And they're like, well, we want to get you into this. And I was like, no, like you're warranting it. That's your fucking job. And so they're like, all right, well, what if we give you cost? And I was like, oh, that's no, like you're warranting it. It's getting fixed. And so finally they're like, look, could you just pay my guys some labor and do this or whatever? And I think I paid $200 for 4 rims, 4 tires, all brand new, everything. They put it on and we came to an agreement of like, I think $50 a tire for all brand new. And I was like, fine, fucking deal, right? Like, you got me, right? And again, so I wasn't, and I think I went and scrapped my rims for the price, right? So I didn't, because yeah, sure, I had 19s, I look cool, whatever. Like to me, it doesn't look any different, right? I don't spend. Do I want to put butterfly doors on there? Do I want suicide doors in the back? Yes. It's always been my dream. Never once done it, right? Never will I do it.
When looking at this guy's specific situation,
Yeah.
how do you get out of this?
Oh man. So you can afford it. It'll just be tight. You don't want it, right? So now you have to figure out which one you want more and which one you don't. Dealership's offering you 27. So you owe $11,000 more. One, you negotiate to a higher price.
Mhm.
And two, okay, so you can either take that and come up with $11,000, right? I mean, you say you can afford the 600 something, but it's going to be really tight. So save and have the difference paid off. You can go get a personal loan for $11,000 and just pay the shit out of that because now you have 600. I'm looking at my phone, looking for my phone. Right, so 645. We get rid of the entire payment. Okay, we have $11,000 divided by $645 is 17 months. Right. Granted, you can afford it, so which means you can afford a little bit more.
What are you buying at that point?
Nothing.
I mean, what are you driving?
You're buying
You're walking.
a beat. Yeah, I say getting rides for a while. I don't care, but yeah, go buy a beater car, right?
Well, the other option you have is to take that and roll it into a new loan.
Mhm.
So they're going to give you 27, right? So find a $14,000 vehicle and
That's
roll that 11 into that 14.
That's now
So now you're at
25.
25, which sucks,
Mhm.
but it gives
So-
you time to pay that off.
mind you, also, I guess there's another option from me. So you're at 4.25. I don't know what car rates are right now. It's not something I follow on a daily.
They're high.
Yeah, but still, can we still find a 4.25 interest rate? Any ideas?
I don't know. I'm looking.
Okay, but well, I just figured you guys just bought a car, so
I don't know monthly what we got for the interest rate.
gotcha. But so at 645 minus the 2 years that we've already paid on it, we could refinance that 38.5, right? I'm complete. What are we at?
9.81%.
No, there's got to be cheaper out there. That's insane. New car, damn.
New car,
Holy
yeah.
shit. So
New car's 7.
in shop, I guess I think you can shop it around, but you could refinance that 38.5, right, and get it to a lower payment or extend it out for a longer period to make it a smaller payment.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but then you could overpay.
I don't love it either, but these are options.
Right. So that way you have a couple extra bucks in your pocket, right? Biggest thing. And to me, if I'm buying a $50,000 vehicle, I'm driving it, fucking till it's dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it's funny. I'm actually looking at maybe getting a different vehicle.
Really?
Yep.
Purple?
Yeah, the exact same one.
Nice.
And there's one down in Indiana, for like $6,000. It's got 80,000 less miles on it right now. And I'm like, all right, I might go do this because mine, again, I've had it for 11 years. And
You have.
but so, all right, in the past couple months, so I'm burning a little bit of oil right now. So now I'm doing research on, do I want to fix this? And my body's a little bit, whatever. And there's some things that I'm I'm like, hey, but it's not dead, so I don't have to. But I'm already looking for if this thing blows up,
Yeah.
right? Well, and I called Austin Jordan, which is an engine repair on it. They want $5,000 to do my motor, and I was like, nope.
Yeah.
So I might probably try some things with it, but yeah. So again, $5,000 versus $6,000, and I have 80,000 less miles. I'm not stupid. I'm just gonna go pay $6,000, and I'll hope to drive it for another. I mean, for that, I figure $100 a month is about what I usually tell people. So my goal would be to drive it for 6 years, right? I mean, in my car, I got it for a steal, but I have well paid for my vehicle.
So our last Reddit post.
Yeah, let's see, what do we got?
My wife just got offered the opportunity to go 1099 at her job.
Oh Jesus.
My wife
My wife.
has been with the company for over a year
Ooh, a whole year.
as an office manager with a current salary of $85,000.
Awesome.
She just texted me saying her boss asked if she would like to switch from a W-2 employee to a 1099,
Okay.
which seems like a strange question, to be honest. She currently has no benefits as my job takes care of all of that.
That's amazing.
It is. My first instinct is to say no, as the W-2 feels more secure and less bothersome
Okay.
when it comes to taxes. I would appreciate any advice and any pros and cons when it comes to taxes, job security, and freedom this may offer.
I can't give you freedom because that's going to be written in your contract. That's nothing I can help you with.
Right.
I'll be honest about that.
Taxes, on the other hand.
So, but they haven't told me what their offer was. It didn't say.
Yeah, it didn't say they were making any more or any less. They were just switching from W-2 to a 1099, which I know as a 1099 employee, you are paying higher taxes.
Yeah. So you are going to pay at 83,000, 85,000?
85,000.
But of course, so we're going to pay 22 percentile taxes. So 22%. So you're going to instantly need a 22% pay increase. So 85 times times 1.22. Geez, criminy.
You hit the wrong buttons there.
103,700, and that's just to be back at even.
Correct.
But then that puts us into the 24% tax bracket.
Mhm.
So now we have to go back and add the 24. Sorry, point, because I had to figure out if it was going to get into the next tax bracket. So 105, so $106,000.
Just to stay even with where you're actually making it as a W-2.
Correct. Like, and you have no benefit. You have no protection of anything. You have,
So you need a $30,000 increase, a little over.
oh, usually, yeah. But, and that again, that doesn't cover anything. So
No.
now, hey, if we're talking, hey, you can work when you want, we're going to pay you the same. You're going to do it. Like, if you have all that benefits, sure, I'll talk about it. But if not, I'm instantly going in. Sure, you're doubling my salary, right? I mean, we're now making, 160, right? Divided by 52 weeks, divided by 40 hours in the week, I'm making, $77 an hour, right? And so like that, I'm billing you $77 per hour of work with a minimum of 40 hours guaranteed. All overtime will be paid based off, like, that's how I'm presenting this, right? Like, you're trying to take the liability. And
I
the
wish
risk
I
off
would
of
have
it.
saved this Reddit post.
Yeah.
So a 1099 employee asked,
Mhm.
They have a job where there's not enough parking at the job site.
Correct.
So they have to park at a different job site.
Okay.
And to be able to get to their job, quote unquote, on time, they would have to be at the other parking location 2 hours before they start work. And they're like, this is the job. They're requiring this. What do I do?
Yep.
And a bunch of people were like, listen, you're a 1099 employee. You're an independent contractor.
You are.
They can tell you when they want you to work, but they can't require you to work at a specific time.
It's not true.
Answer.
Well, so everything, again, when you were a 1099 employee, you sit down and you get a contract that states how long your contract lasts, what you're willing to offer, right? So if your contract states, hey, you will be a 1099 employee doing this specific task for this time, and you have to work 8 weeks, right? And you can't take vacation. If it states that, like whatever the contract states, you have to do it.
I can tell you right now, as a 1099 employee in the past,
Yeah.
I never had a contract.
Sure. So if you're a contractor, if you're whatever, right? But I thought, but Ummer doesn't. But like, you know, if you're
When you were at Kirby,
yeah,
you were 1099.
right. When I was in maintenance for something, I was at
No,
1099.
let's go back to Kirby.
Yep.
Did they hand you a contract and you signed shit?
I don't remember.
Because I know working at Filter Queen, I didn't get any contract.
Right.
They said, we want you to work at these times.
Sure.
And we were expected to show up.
Yep.
And because I'm like 21 years old, I'm like, oh, cool. I'll show up at those times.
Yeah. We want you to work from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m.
No, it was more like 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Right.
But still, they told me, and I'm like, oh, I have to do that.
Yeah.
But in actuality, did I have to do that?
Right.
I didn't, because I never had an actual contract that said so. If you have a contract that spells it out, yes.
Yep. It's exactly. And so when you're making 85,000 a year, you're working in a higher tier than a fucking Kirby sales.
You're
right?
not wrong.
But
if they're not going to spell that out,
right, then you can do what the hell you want, right?
and again, I'm going to negotiate that. I'm going to say, hey, that's cool. I will turn to a 1099.
Yep.
But you're getting me from this hour to this hour, and that's it.
Well, and no, you'll get me when you don't even say from this hour to this hour. You don't say anything. Like you just say, hey, you'll get the work that you need done, right? And that's, you've hired me to do this task, whether it takes me 5 minutes or whether it takes me 50
Correct.
hours, like
Mhm.
the task will get done. You know, so we share TikToks all the time about, hey, you didn't show up to this 9 o'clock meeting. Well, it's not in my contract. I have to be there. Well, you better be there, otherwise you're getting fired. Great, fire me. Sounds great. I'll take my severance for 3 months that you owe me. Right. So like
the one I love is, I sent you an email.
Yeah.
It's the weekend. I'll deal with it on Monday. No, you have to deal with it now. No, I don't. I'm an hourly employee. I don't work on the weekend. Sorry. I'll deal with it on Monday.
Yep. We're gonna talk about your attitude when you get here. No, you're not.
No, I quit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, don't quit.
Yeah. No, and so I mean, I get like that's an open-ended discussion at that point, right? Because it's like, hey, do you have a contract? Yes or no? And so when it comes to taxes, the only thing that's kind of going to be different, right, is, and again, we don't know if this person drives for their job currently. We don't know you'll be able to write off the mileage versus them repaying you for mileage. You'll be able to do like all business expense. So granted, you probably won't be able to use their printer anymore. You have to buy your own. And everybody thinks that everything's great when it's all a tax deduction. It's not fucking how it works.
And honestly, the tax deductions aren't worth shit.
No, God, no. And you have to, I think now they made the rule it's $25,000 in spending,
Yeah.
right? Like before you even get
Yeah.
a break. And
Because of the last administration, I don't get a write-off on anything I do for my house.
right.
They just did away with all of it.
And so like, I don't know, the past couple of years I've gotten them because I spend
A shit ton.
hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
dollars on flips, right? But like otherwise I don't get this as a write-off. So I to me that's a hard one. It really like what are they offering me? And then we'll discuss it. But like if they said, hey, would you consider it? I would instantly go, I mean, you can throw me an offer. I wouldn't even say we'd have a discussion. I would just say, you throw me an offer and I will look at it, right? I don't say, oh, I would consider it, because that gives them, oh, hey, well, we'll pay you $32 an hour, which is what they're making now. And then they're paying, they're getting screwed on so much.
Well, again, my guess is they're not offering anything extra
Right.
to make this change.
Oh, 100%. Well, because right now, as a non-1099, I mean, everybody complains about taxes, but like when you're getting state taken out, you're getting federal taken out, 1099, all of this gets taken out. So it's just a 24% tax bracket. Then you have all the rest of it. You have your state, you have your federal, so federal's the 24, but like you have all, if you, Grand Rapids has a local, right?
Yeah.
Which there's just so much to it.
Your Medicaid, your
exactly, right?
FICAs.
All of it. And so, you have to cover And that's why I say double it, right? Like instantly double whatever the hell you are, and you might come close to what you need because everything else just costs you an arm and a
Mhm.
leg. So it's not, and that's the hard part that bothers me is people don't understand what it is to be an employer versus an employee, right? And because they have, sure, he says he has health coverage, but they have coverage on her if she gets hurt at the place. If not, then she has to sue the company when she gets hurt there,
Mhm.
and that changes things differently. But like, no matter what, they have some type of insurance on her. It's not yours that cover hers will cover the after she leaves the fucking place. But yeah, so there's a lot to think about, a lot to do with that type of a situation. I don't know what she does for a living.
Correct.
So, but all right, yeah, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We love reading these Reddit things. I think we're gonna do them a little bit more often.
I do. We enjoy answering specific questions, and
Yeah.
if our viewers don't come with them, we're going to find them elsewhere.
Damn right. So guys, as always, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We appreciate you listening. This will be uploaded, we think, next week, and we're gonna do another episode on
In like 30 seconds.
yeah, I say, and join us for that. So look forward to that in the future as well.
How was your beer? The
Oh, Mr.
eye
Mike,
candy.
I say, Mr. Mike Benson, R&D Brewing, Passion Fruit Goes. I actually really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
He's going to tell you Goza.
Yeah, which is fine. It wasn't, a lot of them I have are a little saltier. This was just a great drink.
Really like
So,
that one.
I did.
I think there's another one or two of those there.
Oh.
Founder's French Toast Bastard. Delicious.
Yeah, say, you asked me beforehand, and I said, man, it just wasn't what I wanted, right? At the time, because I like dirty and I like backwoods.
Yep.
And French, I just, for being the only beer I was gonna have that night, I just didn't want cinnamon, right? Nothing wrong with it. It's a good. We love the French toast stouts and
Yes.
porters and things, but yeah, just what I needed.
My soft parade was good too. I'm going to start that with the next episode as well.
Awesome.
If you're with us on Twitch or Podbean, we're going to be right back with another episode. If you're with us on the podcast, well, we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
You've dialed in.
To Bucks and Brews, you might hear something
You can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use.
smarts of these
Because
stuff.
they know the
And
brews.
they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
Save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks.
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
brews.
and brews.
Brews.
Bucks and brews.